What's up, everybody? This is Whiskey in the Six. I'm Rob. Today I'm doing Kentucky Owl straight 11-year-old rye. Before I get to this lovely American whiskey, straight rye, I would like to talk a little bit about Snups. Alright guys, so here's the app Snups right here in the corner. This is the main page. The people you follow, everything they recently posted will pop up here. So Paul recently posted that Penderin Mini, which he got in his advent calendar. Tom R posted his Collectible 18-year-old, as well as his Collectible 15-year-old, and I believe this is also Tom R with his Macallan Classic Cut. That's a beauty. All right, so to get to the groups, a lot of people were struggling with this when they made their accounts. You go to this little button over here, and that takes you to the main explore page, which is this. All right, now the groups I follow are at the top. Of course, I follow the Whiskey in the Six group, so I'm gonna give that a click. And up here, this bar here says discuss and share. This is where you're gonna be clicking to either share your own personal items on your shelves or your moments. All right, now the key to moments, something that I forgot to mention in the last post, was the moments are meant to be shared with friends. So you're gonna tag the people that were involved in that moment. All right, I recently posted a moment over here about this bottle right here, this lot 40. It's actually right there in the picture, and I tagged Bill because Bill sent this bottle to be given away in a raffle on my channel. All right, so thank you again, Bill. So I posted that moment on my channel, and I tagged Bill and a couple other people in the post, and that will be given away shortly, and details will follow. But it's that simple. So like I said, if you're at a club, you're at a bar, you take a picture with some friends, you try Macallan M or something cool like that, and you want to share it and you want to tag your friends, that's how you're going to get that message across, okay? And that's the cool thing about moments. So make sure when you post a moment, and the way you would do that is you go to your individual profile, you go to moments, all right, and you go to the bottom plus sign over here, all right, and this will allow you to add a moment, which is right here, and you add the picture you take and whatever else you want. All right, so hopefully I made that a little bit more clear. Next time I talk about Snups, I'm gonna be using your questions. So make your account, sign up for Snups. I will use your questions if you need clarity on anything as what I talk about in my next video when I talk about Snups. Okay, so make sure you guys make that account and join the Whiskey in the Six group. We look forward to having you guys. Now, let's get to Kentucky Owl. All right, so I did a little bit of research on this bottle, and for the most part, it's going for between 110 and 150 US dollars. There are people that are paying a little bit more for that just so they can get their hands on it because it is very limited. All right. Unfortunately, it's not easy to come by, especially if you live in Canada. But I was lucky enough to pick up this bottle in trade for one of these, actually. Thank God for my lot 40 12-year-old reserve in the bunker back there. I picked up one of these straight up trade with Claire the Third. So thank you very much, Claire. You're an awesome guy. I really appreciate the trade. The delivery was insanely quick, and he's just a super guy. A lot of the other whiskey channels have him as a subscriber, and I've heard nothing but good things about him. So thank you, Claire. Baby crying. That's not going to stop us from finishing up this review. Okay, so the mash bill is undisclosed on this, and I've done a little bit of research to try to figure out what exactly it is, but I'm gonna venture a guess and say there's a heavy amount of rye in this one. The standard full rye is similar to bourbon when it comes to corn. You need 51% rye grain in order to call it a straight rye. I'm gonna venture out and say that this is probably close to about 80%, maybe a little less than that, but not much. And then the other two fillers would be corn and barley, if I had to guess. But like I said, there's not a ton, because this one right here is 100% rye in a char number 2 barrel. I think the biggest difference between these two is that this is probably a char number 3 barrel, and a small amount of rye and malted barley. Very floral, almost like a chamomile type smell. Get that dusty rye spiciness, and then hints of like a corn sweetness in there. Definitely floral on the palate. Almost like a caramelized chamomile tea. That's kind of what I'm getting on the palate. Really nice rye spices though. This is excellent stuff. Bottled at 55.3%, so it's barrel strength. Or most likely barrel strength. It doesn't actually say that on the front of the bottle, nor does it say it on the back of the bottle. So I'm very curious to try their bourbon. I hear great things about it. It's similar in the sense that it's very limited in its release. Got a nice hit of like nutmeg and cinnamon there on the nose. Maybe like an allspice. Some brown sugar on the palate. On the palate, it suggests that there's a little bit more corn influence than on the nose, that's for sure. It does drink, although I will say, because of the virgin oak, this also drinks similar to a bourbon, although it's 100% rye. So this drinks similar to a bourbon because of the virgin oak, I would assume. But I also know that there's probably a good amount of corn whiskey in there, and if I had to guess, I would say probably 20, maybe a little less percent. I'm gonna go with 20. So if I had to guess mash bill, and if you guys know, please share it in the comments below, but if I had to guess mash bill, I'm gonna go with 70%, 75% rye, 20% corn, and 5% malted barley. That's my guess. And a nice number 3 char on this, but I also don't know that for sure. As you can tell, the sweetness, all those things are easily found on the palate with very minimal burn at 55.3%, which is why I haven't added water yet. But for the sake of the review, I will. Just a quick drop. bring this to around 50%. Hopefully open it up, find a couple different things. Chamomile is a little stronger now, like a honeyed chamomile. Like a smoked honey, almost. Again, smoked honey, chamomile, brown sugar, a little bit of allspice or clove, maybe some nutmeg. One more taste. That's solid stuff. I'm gonna have to give that an A+. I'm gonna say that's a 90. Is it worth the hype? That was one of the questions I was asked on Instagram. Is it worth the hype? Not if you're paying $200 American a bottle. But if you can get it between 130 and lower, 90 to 130 bucks US, I would say pull the trigger for a one-time taste. This is not, I mean, I'm very early on in this bottle. I might change my mind completely, but I don't think I would pay more than 150 American for that. If for whatever reason this bottle broke tomorrow, I would want to replace it. I would replace it at 150. I wouldn't replace it more than that. Just because there's a lot of great whiskey you can buy for 150 US dollars, all right? And I kind of wanted to do this as a video where I talk about Snups because it is a highly collectible whiskey because of how limited it is and how crazy people are going for it. It's good stuff, I'm not gonna deny that. It's not $100 better than this whiskey, which is 70 Canadian, and it's pretty much gone now. There was only 4,968 bottles. I would put these head to head any day, and I think a lot of people would have trouble deciding, to be honest with you, in a blind taste test. So if you had an opportunity to pick up lot 40 12-year-old at $70 Canadian, it was a steal, and you actually probably did a little bit better for your money, in my opinion. They're both similar in mark. I would say this drinks a little bit more like a bourbon, the Kentucky Owl, than the lot 40, but not so much so that it's worth the extra dollars. It's not so much better that it's worth the extra dollars either. Although in the near future, this will probably be around 300 US dollars because of how limited it is and the uncertainty around whether or not there's going to be more. Although it does say batch 1, so we'll see. Could be one of many. But until then, we don't know. Like I said, that's about a 90. That's an A+ for me. Right on the cusp. I could see people going a little bit lower than that, dropping that down to about an A. I would say it's probably take, not so much give, but take 3 marks. So it could go down to about an 87, which would put it in the A category for me. But I'm gonna stick with my 90. I think it's good stuff. I think it's worth $90 to $130 if you're gonna buy it to drink it. As far as collectability, you might find somebody that'll be willing to buy it in the near future for a couple $100, but I wouldn't break the bank for it, that's for sure. Well, that's it. You guys can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You guys definitely need to check out Snups if you haven't already. We're really enjoying it. There's a whole bunch of us that are on it that really, really like it. So we invite you. We want you to jump into the Whiskey in the Six group, share your collection, share some of your beautiful bottles of rye and bourbon if you have them. And yeah, that's about it. Cheers, guys.